Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 7. I am throwing down the gauntlet. I know it's going to catch some flack, but that's kind of the purpose of this. I think this is the best episode ever. There's some depth, there's some tragedy. You guys know the spoilers, and even after watching the spoilers, I found myself watching scenes, rewinding it. It was incredible. So I know there's going to be some dislikes. I know people are going to argue for the sake of argument. It's kind of what I'm doing, so I get it. I understand it. We're all entitled to our opinion, but I'm going to hope to make a strong case of what this episode brought. There might be some things that maybe you missed. All week long, we're going to be talking about this. There's so many good topics. I've got 13 pages of information that we're going to be breaking down all week long. Spoilers will probably come out early, so around Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in transition to episode 8. It's going to be incredible as well. So before we get too far into it, how about a super special shout out to the Patreon Army? You see them up there on the screen. Also, those of you that were here last night for PDL, I had an incredible time with Play Dead Live. You guys don't know what that is on Friday night. You see the PDL sponsors up there. They bring that show to you live. So halfway through our show, it's a live role playing, so a whole lot of fun. Warning, this picture up on the screen is it's devastating, absolutely devastating to me. And I know some people are going to just fast forward all the way to the end and say, look, what happened with Sadiq and Dante? That was the story. I would argue that this episode, Open Your Eyes, was about unfulfilled promises. I want you guys to think about that for the remainder of the week. It was as real as it could possibly be. I'm not going to lie to you guys, and those of you that watched the episode already and some people tomorrow night, I was a little bit in tears. And there were some scenes, and it wasn't the very end that kind of took me to getting a little bit watery-eyed. Even knowing the spoilers, I got about halfway through this, and when these flashbacks kicked in, and I'm going to tell you, the one that really, really hit me was the flashback when he was in the water. And I'm going to ask you guys, those of you that have seen it, how many people, what was the most shocking, most moving moment? I want to get some of your thoughts included in this. The thumbnail was absolutely heartbreaking as well. Tom, I've heard that before. What do you say to the argument Sadiq dying means Carl died for nothing? I actually think that Sadiq didn't feel that about Carl. I know that's what fans are saying. Tom, I feel like the Sadiq felt that about Enid. And he brought up some things with Enid. I think the reason he wanted to live and carry on is not to let her down. So, but Tom, good point. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. So keep that thought, okay? I'm over Carl, to be honest. I've been over Carl for a long time. Some people are not. Carl died for the the all-out war. You can argue it was a bad move. A lot of people argue it's a bad move. I think it could have been done better, but I'm all about Angela Kang right now, not about Carl Grimes. So Mist says him telling Rosita what he was going through, the screams during the flashbacks. So this is good because I like that a lot of people are answering the shock value, right? Dante kills Sadiq. This is what happened. Believe it or not, that was not the most moving part to me. The most moving part to me were several of the mini scenes where Sadiq says to where Sadiq says to Cheryl, it's going to be okay. Letting her know it's fine. And then Sadiq with Rosita, letting her know it's going to be okay. And Rosita saying to Sadiq, we need you to pull through this. All right, everybody. Let me also tell you, is everybody back? Are we good? Saturday morning streams with topics that could be deemed controversial for whatever reason on our channel, we always get a little bit of delay. So just want to warn you guys that does happen, tends to happen on our Saturday morning recaps. We're safe, YouTube. We're not discussing anything crazy, just talking about the show. All right. So hopefully the YouTube gods are listening loud and clear. So how that escalated up to get to a point where everything he was doing, he couldn't quite shake that image. And I'm gonna take a bullet on this one. because we have done streams where I'm not saying, and some people could accuse me of saying Sadiq was a traitor. That was not my official stand. We did a video that said Sadiq could be a traitor. We did a video that said Sadiq might have been lying to the group. We did a video asking if Dante was a whisperer. We did another video saying, was Sadiq forced to watch while other people died? All of these things we discussed. Even this situation we discussed. Now, we've talked about them not in one stream, but we talked about Dante being a whisperer, and we also talked about Sadiq being weak and powerless and not a traitor. Hopefully you guys remember all of those. And to see that happen on screen, I felt as powerless as Sadiq. I didn't want him to fight because I knew he couldn't fight. So let me tell you just a couple big moments from this. And this was the part that ripped my heart out. We got Rich says, that's what you get when you trust someone who looks like Terminus Gareth. All right. Yeah, you know what? Touche, Rich. Dante is Gareth Part 2. So let me tell you the real tragedy of Sadiq opening his eyes. How many people noticed Alpha raising the machete and posing and stopping? Did you guys catch that? It was the torture and the people crying. Now, I want you for a moment to imagine you're that person, like Carl was with Negan, like Enid was, like DJ was, and it's almost like, you've seen those people said, make you flinch, and it's almost like, open your eyes. Good. She wasn't going to do it until he watched her do it. And if you're the person that's down there and you're bracing, you're praying, you're like, am I going to get through this? You're ready. You can't fight back anymore. And it's not 5 seconds. It's not 10 seconds. It's like drowning. DJ was drowning and didn't know when he was going to run out of oxygen. Enid was drowning. And Sadiq knew the only way to end their suffering was to open his eyes. Think about that. It's like you can't see it, you don't want to see it, but you know the only way to put them out of their misery is to watch. So more than just the physical standpoint, imagine the emotion that Sadiq's going through, and he hit something on the head here where he said, I feel like I let Enid down. I almost, we talked about this the other night, like a book, right? Great point. Amy Ferrer says, great directing by Cudlitz. You guys remember the analogy that I gave the other night? Like, some people love to read comics. Some people love to read books. You don't always need every backstory. You don't always need every single word, to be defined for you, because it's going to be like yours. So when Sadiq said that about, I feel like I let Enid down, in my mind, I'm already writing my book. Like what did Enid say in her final moments to Sadiq? Did she say, live for them? Was she mumbling something? Was there some network, some communication where Sadiq thought, okay, I just witnessed the most evil thing in the world, but I'm going to try to live to help other people. And when these people started getting sick and he couldn't save them, is when he said to Rosie, I feel like I let Enid down. And I thought of all the people there, and he kept seeing her face over and over again, and he misses her. Just mind-blowing to me. So even though it was good what you were able to see, I think that what you weren't able to see is just as good. That we don't always need the roadmap up on the screen. So as I said when we started this stream, and we'll go through some of the spoilers, 13 pages. I can't get through all 13 pages because we're going to be doing a lot of recaps tonight or tomorrow night. I'm going to tell you guys, if there's any stream that you want to participate in, it is going to be The audience you see here right now, before we're out of here, will be 12, 13, 1,400 people. They're going to watch this video real time. People jump in, they jump out. Tomorrow night, there are literally going to be thousands of people in the reaction video because a good portion of my audience does not watch spoilers. I will say I'm glad I knew the spoilers because even though I'm going to be watching it and be around a bunch of emotionally affected people tomorrow, just be prepared tomorrow for the people coming in, the anger, the venom, the kill Dante, the I can't believe it, I miss Sadiq, all of those things. Just be sensitive toward it because it's going to be a lot of emotion. And if you guys haven't been on one of those streams, I will say it is one of the most unifying streams that we do. We only get one like once every year or once every 2 years when it's a really, really devastating episode. But I'm looking forward to that tomorrow because, your support, as a lot of people brings back, this show brings back a lot of real-time situations. And we're going to get through it tomorrow. Tom Ferrer, you think Sadiq went through a worse experience with Alpha than Rick had with Negan during the lineup? That's a great question, Tom. I do. Because Rick witnessed two people. And I'll say it's a tough comparison, Tom. But it's almost like, I hate comparing tragic situations, but the way Alpha did it was very similar to Negan, but it was more gruesome, more people screaming. So yes. But let me also say, Sadiq said something about Eugene that just resonated with me. And hopefully you guys caught this. When Rosita and Sadiq were sitting down and, they were kind of, making joke, making light, flirting. Sadiq said about Eugene that he has the ability to bounce back. Not everybody can. Rick had the ability to bounce back. Eugene can bounce back. Sadiq is saying, I don't have that ability. He knows that about himself. And he was accepting it. And Sadiq probably could have figured out the water thing much, much earlier if he wasn't constantly haunted. He's afraid to go to sleep because he endangers himself and other people. He's afraid to close his eyes because what he remembers. He's starting now to hallucinate during the day. I don't know if you guys caught that, but he walks in, sees the sick people, and then it's broad daylight with his eyes open, and he sees Alpha. It's going to a whole different extreme now. Before it was just bits and pieces. When I doze off, now it's like 24 hours a day. And let me say what I think was more heartbreaking to me is Enid. I was always middle ground with Enid. Tara, didn't really care a whole lot for Tara. There's a few characters that I just, they're okay. Sadiq, whatever. I was okay with Sadiq. This episode made me like him, respect him, and miss him all in one episode. They tied the flashbacks together so well that I actually went from being indifferent towards Sadiq to, and that's rare for me. Normally I can, I'm pretty in tune with how I feel about these characters. But because of what I saw him go through, and I think it wasn't just what he went through, it's even though he knew that all he had to do was open his eyes to end this, he still couldn't do it. It still had to be Dante that made him do it. And look at the enjoyment that Dante is getting by forcing him to watch this situation. And to me, I know Dante started out creepy, But did anybody here feel like Sadiq is Dante's puppy? Sadiq is Dante's kitten. We're friends. You know, I'm going to take care of you. Don't want to have to kill my sick dog because he got bit by something. This was like a classic. This was like a male version of Old Yeller. That Dante actually knows what Sadiq went through, but you're still lesser than me. You're still my pet. You're still my animal. I'm going to watch over you. I'm going to toy with you when I can. But when something goes down, I'm going to have to kill you. So, I want to say this, and this is going to be a We got Super Chat in the house. What's up, CPH? Says, do you think Dante left Alpha, wanted a better life in Alexandria, but got scared when he was found out? Well, okay, let me say this. I think that is a great question of a lot of depth. I think it's one of those questions that is too early to ask, because it's tough to ask that question when there's so many people that want to hang Dante right now, that want to just kick him out. I would definitely entertain that question and say, Dante might appreciate this way of life. He might like being the lead doctor. There's certainly an argument to be made for that, but it's almost like you're going to take on a controversial argument when everybody else doesn't want to hear it right now. Like, no, Dante's evil. He wanted to kill him. All of the above. And I think, CPH, that's probably a question that will get a little bit more interest and credibility in a couple of weeks when the Sadiq thing has died down a little bit. But I would not be surprised to say that Dante might enjoy not being in a whisper suit. He might enjoy food. Gamma seems to be enjoying it. You know, the one difference is, and we don't see Dante when he's by himself, but Dante's not doing some chant like Gamma and like the other prisoner. So that might be a point of reference, like, you know, he's not, you know, going through the motions. Amy Bones Ferrero. If you guys missed PDL last night, go back and check it out. A doctor is in the house. Thank you, Amy. Good job last night. Amy says, the Whisper hostage said to Dante, never, just like Beta did with Alpha. He did. And it was, I thought the Whisper prisoner played his part very well, as in addition to the other. Everybody was amazing. So let me ask a question with a negative connotation. Was there any acting or any moments that you guys watched with the show this week that felt manufactured or felt fake? I thought even the prisoner, you know, looking up at the light, like that prisoner, did anybody feel like he was on death row and he was getting ready to be executed? Seeing that light shine through the prison bars, dead man walking. If you didn't appreciate every little nuance that the writers and Michael Cudlitz and the actors brought, unbelievable. And Carol to go in and sit down, and I loved it because she's got the white towel over it, almost as if it's like one of those, you know, spy movies where you're getting ready to torture somebody. Which finger are you going to cut off? And Carol says to, great line, funny line there when she says, "Are we ready to begin?" And I lost it. I lost it with Carol. I thought Carol was amazing. I want to get some of those lines. So Carol brings food. She says, "Let's get started." And it's a freaking sandwich. And then the pause there, right? Here's their big question. So what's it going to be? Honey or jam? So you're in the middle of this tense moment, and this guy thinks, oh boy, they're going to cut my tongue out. I don't know what they're going to do. And then she follows it up, strawberry or apple? Like, how much more kind can you be? And the prisoner says, all of it. This dialogue, I got to say, this scene got dark in a hurry, and we got a glimpse of the comic book Whisper arc here. The prisoner is crying while he's eating the sandwich. Get your thoughts and comments in here. What do you think that is about? Give me your complete unfiltered. This guy is tasting this sandwich he hasn't had in a long time. What was your feeling when you saw him literally breaking down? Joey says he hasn't eaten in weeks. See, Joey, to me, I agree with Nat. It wasn't the food. Exactly. Kelly Clifford Simmons, right on point. He didn't want, and it's not as better than worms, he felt like he was betraying Alpha. It was the guilt. Like, you're going to sell out. And at that moment, he realized he betrayed her. So get beyond the starving, the impulse to eating. It wasn't about the impulse. These people have trained themselves to eat worms. The whole time, he realizes all this preparation, all this faith that Alpha put in him, he's betraying it. He's sinning to a degree. And Alpha is she's the deity. She's the one they all report to. She's the one they worship. It got to a point here where it was about worshiping. So he spits it back out, and Carol decides to go beast mode when she comes back in. Where's the horde? Tell me. Warning, this next part that I'm going to read to you is going to go PG-13. We try to avoid some things that want YouTube to avoid, but I'm going to read, and this is as close to the Whisperer sexual assault arc as you'll ever get. He looks at Carol and says, you have the animal in you. If we were out there, I'd take you like a bitch in heat. How many people just felt a pit in the bottom of their stomach when he coldly looks at her and says that? I'm going to tell you, that might have been, whoa. I mean, that scene, she took the ring out, and the ring had a deeper meaning. One, it was like, first of all, let me show you that I'm taken. Number two, I'm going to beat you down with this ring. So I love the transition. I got to tell you, I love the writing as much as I hated the writing at the same time. Because it was something that truly shook me listening to this. But to see her hit them, and then Daryl calmly, you think Daryl's going to stop her like he did the first time, when she was shooting Alpha. Daryl says, that's enough. And the first thing I'm thinking is, how many people, when you heard Daryl say that's enough, you're thinking like, oh, hell no, that ain't enough. He needs to be hit about 50 more times. Hit him in his nuts a couple times with that ring. That's the first thing that I'm thinking. Like, give him some serious payback. But then they transitioned it extremely well again. Like, you see that dark scene from the Whisper, and Carol calmly puts on the ring. Then you see Daryl looking as if he's going to back off, and then he steps up and says, I'll start with your fingers first, then both your ears. And then he's going to take his teeth. I think he knew Daryl was not playing games. So he gives them, in a weird sort of way, he gives them what they want, which is information. He wasn't even willing to talk. And as dark as it seemed when he was talking, he said, you lie to yourselves, to each other. You fight for what? Sandwiches. So on the surface, that looks defiant. It looks condescending. But the depth to that conversation of saying, the Whisper is now opening up. He can't just give in to Daryl and look weak. He's got to start talking about random stuff. And then Daryl takes his hand and is about to go to step number 2. And then he talks a little bit more and says, you ignore the truth when it stares you right in the face. I thought that was a big callback to Sadiq. He basically just told him, hey, you know what? A little bit ago, when your doctor was in here and I was staring him right in the face, you ignore the truth when it's staring you right in the face. I would never betray Alpha. She loves me, loves us all, sacrificed her daughter for us. And then, of course, we get the Carol and Daryl scene. Now, the Carol and Daryl scene is going to be interesting to see how that plays off in the future because, as you know, Carol, boom, she's going after Lydia. Daryl says, no, kid's been through enough. She says, let her make her own choice. We see the lengths that Carol will go through to manipulate Lydia. Talks to her earlier, what do you know? Takes her out hunting. Lydia feels like, you care about me. And of course, at the end, we found out she didn't. So much good stuff to break down in this episode. I have to tell you, and I know somebody said, when I came out and claimed this is the best episode ever, 7-1 was amazing. 7-1 is the only episode I've only watched one time. This one, I'm going to be honest with you. I watched the flashback scenes over and over, and I watched them in frame by frame because I wanted to see what other hints were out there. Obviously, the blood flowing, the spider, Alpha, kind of pausing and saying, open your eyes. Good. Good boy. They treated him like a pet. I think Alpha started that, and then Dante just carried it to a different level. But there are multiple stories happening here. I missed Sandy's question. There's a whole lot of questions up there, everybody. So if you ask a question 2 or 3 times, you guys probably seen there's over 6,000 comments we've had since we started this video. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. If I see it again, I will address it. Gamma is truly trying to drink the Kool-Aid. But here's the thing I like about Gamma. And I never thought I'd say this. How many people here are finding Gamma likable? Of all the whispers that are out there, feeling that when she talks to Aaron, she completely lets her guard down. She talks about how they used to take the long way home. She didn't really lie to Aaron when she said she's an only child. She is now. She certainly stretched the truth. Aaron sees through it. Aaron is ready to kill Gamma in self-defense. So those of you out there that think that Aaron is a traitor, let's get rid of that. Aaron is not a traitor. Aaron is trying a different approach. He's trying diplomacy. He's trying what Lydia told them to try. You know what I find interesting? The two most profound strategies. If you guys can tell me the two people on the show, I'll give you the first Kills coin of the week you can use on Freestyle Friday. The two people that have come up with the two best theories and the two best strategies on the show about the whispers and about what to do with the whispers, let me know those two people right now. And they're kind of two shocking people, not Lydia and Aaron. Close. First people to get it, I will tell you, one was not this episode. One was a couple episodes back. Close. A couple people have gotten one or the other. Lydia is one, and the other one, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. All right, we'll have to do it in future streams. Some people got one or the other, but not both. Lydia and Judith are the two people. Dishwasher. There you go. You know what, dishwasher? I'll give it to you. You came in under the radar. Lydia and Judith. Judith is the one that opens Michonne's eyes to what the whispers are doing. That's the first time that we get hint to, even before all the trees were cut down, even before all these extra strategies and these walkers were coming in and Michonne wants to deny it. Judith is the one saying, you think, like RJ, we try to wear him down? Do you think they're doing that to us? Boom, that's number one. Then Lydia comes out this episode and says, you need to basically kill him with kindness. So, two of the youngest females on the show, the kids, they've been through enough, are the most wise, and they're the ones that know the strategy. The adults are scared. You know what? Maybe it's because these kids have been through enough, and they're immune to it. Which does say a lot for, I think that's an indirect reference to the new show coming out next year. And let me just give a quick 15-second promo, a 15-second hype with that. I am absolutely going to like the new show. I know some of you saw the trailer and you might have been a little bit reserved. I am going to be on the hype train from day number 1. I know Fear the Walking Dead has had its moments, but I went back and watched some of the trailers and what they're doing with that and the weapons and the advancement and how the characters will be different than these characters, how they're born into it. They have, I think, 9,631 or something like that, how many people they have in their community. They're actually, it's funny, we'll talk about this during the week, but our group now is what's building that up. It's funny that, you see all these people out in the wild and they want that community. So they're kind of built, going up the mountain. Then you're going to get those people that are already on the mountain. They're going to want to know what life is like outside because they never experienced it. So it's almost like a backward effect of The Walking Dead. I think it's going to be incredible. Stick with us next year. We're going to be talking about it every week. So hopefully you guys will be on board with that from day number 1. But we're going to get out of the gates with that really, really strong. The reason I bring this up is because I find it ironic that the two most wise people are Judith and Lydia, and that's going to be around the age of the main characters for the new show. So I think that's going to lend a little bit of insight into how strong and how immune that they are. What did Lydia tell Carol? You told me to pick which side I'm going to be on. I'm going to be on my own side. Like, I'm out of here. Lydia also said something very profound when she said, I wished I would have left with Henry. Now, I don't think Lydia's getting very far. And to bring this full circle, Lydia feels used, and now she sees Carol as alpha. And I got a question for you guys. Is Carol slipping into alpha territory? Think with your head, not with your heart. I know there's a lot of Carol defenders here, and everybody's going to say, no kills, never, never. I want you to think about Carol for a little bit and the lengths that she's willing to go to and the sacrifices she's willing to make. Look, I'm not saying she's going to cut somebody's head off and put it on a pike, although she might. She is in pain, and her emotional decisions are going to have an impact. If Lydia dies and Carol pushed Lydia out there on her own, and follow-up question, was Lydia whacking Carol, was that a little bit of a wake-up call? Do you think Carol's going to get it at that moment? Seeing Lydia walk away and get smacked in the face, do you think that's kind of it's going to hit home, literally? Christmas Girl, Lydia is to Carol as Gamma is to Alpha. Great parallel with those two. Absolutely. And what I find interesting, Carol is torturing Lydia emotionally. Alpha is torturing Gamma physically. Hits her with the stick, pulls her sleeve down, and she says, "You are my Gamma." That, I don't at this point, I can't understand crazy. I don't try to understand Alpha's motives. I just accept the fact that she's beyond all control. There is no rationale for that level of disturbance. Carol, there's some rationale. Shane, there was some rationale. Negan, there was some rationale. Alpha, there is none. None. Because she was already nuts before Lydia, after Lydia, whether Lydia's alive, whether she lied. Alpha's it's just another event for her. So, here's my point to that. Did Alpha gain any points with the Whisperers by making Sadiq watch the murder? I'm going to argue no, she didn't. They're already afraid of her. She could have killed him. She could have done all of those things. She didn't need to make him watch. That was for her own twisted pleasure. The watching of it is what really shows you that Alpha, she's at a point now where she thinks her motives are helping. That's where you know she's too far gone. And this is going to get escalated in a hurry because as we saw, once we got to about middle of tonight's episode or today's episode, did you guys feel like, it's a loaded question, but I'll say that I did. Did you feel like your heart was starting to race and you're running through the woods a little bit? That the show seems to be picking up speed? You know, there's Aaron and Gamma, and then there's Sadiq and Dante, and then there's the water, and then there's Rosita. I felt like as the show got further and further, and maybe some of it is because we're in episode 7, and we know we've only got one episode left, but I just felt like I felt like I'm running through the woods and somebody's chasing me. Like your heart's just starting to race more and more and more. And then when you got to that Sadiq and Dante scene, you know, once again, I don't think Dante went in there to kill him. I think he went in there to check up on him, and he realized that his dog did something on the carpet, and he's going to find a way to punish him, although I don't condone that. But I'm just saying that's what I felt with Dante. It's okay, good boy, good boy. And when they made eye contact, Dante knew he couldn't have his pet anymore. Petey Wheatstraw, great point. Petey says, seems like they're hitting with so many different narratives at once. It's really great writing. And Petey, they're hitting them and it's resonating with the audience. It's not like Fear where they hit it with something and then you're waiting 3 episodes before they ever address it. They've added, scene after scene. The flashbacks got better and more detailed and darker and more twisted to a point where we see Dante and that. I mean, that's going to be the new whistle, right? That's going to be, the Saviors had their whistle, that sound in his ear, like he's excited. Watch this. Unbelievable. So I certainly agree, Christmas Girl, Dante deserves to die. But I'm going to close this stream because we're 41 minutes into it and some people are going to watch the playback with this. It does appear that Daryl will be punching Dante. But can you imagine if Dante were to get away with this and would have a traitor in there that nobody suspected? And I'm only assuming that Daryl Dante scene is going to happen. But how twisted and how dark would it be? I'm already emotionally disturbed because Sadiq deserved the chance to be a father. He deserved the chance to heal. He deserved the chance to make it right. And Dante took that last bit of hope away from him. Imagine Dante seeing it, punishing him, torturing him, taking that away from him. Imagine Dante going up and checking on Coco, like a physical or something for his child as she grows up. Now, I don't think Dante's lasting that long, but could you imagine him being a permanent part of this community from the inside? And it's something that we've talked about in the past where we said, what if Alpha doesn't die? What if Alpha's always out there lurking? Could you imagine if Dante is always there? And what if, look, I agree, Lure the Purr. Dude, what if Maggie still falls for him? Could you imagine him not blowing his cover and the Dante-Maggie situation playing out and us being stuck to watch that? I mean, I know it ain't going to happen that way, but it is crazy to think about how he got over on people. And if they kept this storyline and it's not discovered, did anybody see him come in? How's he going to be found out? How long is he going to be on the show? Crazy, crazy stuff, everybody. Some big questions we're going to talk about next week. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Once again, if you guys can do me a huge, huge favor, hit that like button if you've had a good time this week. We've done a lot of spoilers, a lot of predictions, a lot of recaps. We did something this week that I thought was great called Beyond the Spoilers, where we took the spoilers and the predictions, and it was a whole lot of fun. Freestyle Friday. Everybody, we got one more week of The Walking Dead, but we're not going anywhere. A lot of people have discovered our channel, starting with season 10. I've gotten some tremendous comments on the videos where it's like, glad I found you guys. What a great group of people to hang out with. I love hearing that. So if you guys got a 999 story and you enjoy what we do and you like the people here, yeah, when the video goes live, leave it in the comments. Let other people know what you like about our channel, and it'll continue to grow. But it's only going to grow with the right people. We're not going to let the asshats in here. We're going to bring good people and keep good people. And hopefully this is your favorite group on the internet. Then give me a 999 in chat, and I'll tell you why, what makes this group amazing. We got Awesome Beard says, thanks for great spoilers and info. Screw Dante. I love it. Absolutely. Screw Dante. I'm sure he felt some remorse because he could have killed him multiple times. But I don't care that he felt remorse. He should have thought about Sadiq's wife and Sadiq's situation and Sadiq's child. So, yeah, I never liked him either, but I think we all tolerated him. So, all right. There's going to be some tears tomorrow night, everybody. Just want you guys to know. Be here. Please be sensitive to people that are watching it the first time. We got some emo people, and that's all good. We love everybody. But yeah, there's going to be some tears tomorrow night because people are going to be watching it for the first time, and we're going to be live. And Hey, one more thing. A special shout out everybody here for Avi Nash. Absolutely nailed it. His acting was incredible. I hope he watches the playback. Avi, if you're out there, thank you so much. You were an amazing Sadiq, and you played that role unbelievable. So special shout out to the Patreon Army. Thank you for what you guys do. The PDL sponsors. Play Dead Live is brought to you every Friday night by that group. The Green Team. Green Team, do me a favor. Angela Kang emojis, please. Also, our super chatters. Thank you for super chatting. Do you guys super chat? Your comments will be discussed. There is also a super chat sticker down below. It's a new feature that has recently been added by YouTube. And, of course, some of you people that put 999 in there saying that this was your favorite real-time forum group, what makes it, here's the secret. What makes it the best group is every one of you that are in here, that are dedicated, that are watching, getting your ideas, getting your predictions. It's not me doing a 5-minute video telling you what to think. It's you being here real time, answering each other's questions, your theories, your predictions, your passion for the show. That's why the show is going to last another 10 years. It's because the fans that are truly the fans, that are here each and every day to discuss it, to live it, to breathe it, you guys keep this thing going, and I appreciate you, each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I will see everybody tomorrow night for reactions, and then all week long we're going to be doing double streams next week, talking about Episode 7, Episode 8, and the psychology of The Walking Dead. We're going to go beyond the spoilers. Thanks, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. See you tomorrow night. Peace.